Welcome back to the Jake Asman Show on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Need a mortgage that fits your life? Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Jake Asman.
Our next guest is one of the best in the business when it comes to all things Major League Baseball. You can read him at ESPN.com. You see him on ESPN. The great Tim Kurkjian joins us now on our progressive guest line. Tim, thanks so much for your time as always, and I hope you're staying safe.
Yes, we're all safe, and I hope everybody's safe there.
So what is your confidence level right now as we sit here on a Monday morning that Major League Baseball will complete its season?
Well, note my hesitation on this. I don't think we're going to make it through. Now, there were all sorts of reports that the season could end as early as today. That simply is not going to happen. But the game is in turmoil, and it should be, given what it's up against, a pandemic like we've never seen before. And my guess is if we have another outbreak like the Marlins or even like the Cardinals, then that might be enough to say the schedule is too messed up, the integrity of the game is in question, but most important, the health and safety of all people around the game is in question. So that might be enough to say, all right, we're not going to play. But that is a very difficult decision. The commissioner does not want to make that decision. He might not have a choice. But at this point, there are just too many red flags, too many roadblocks, and too many signs that if we've had this kind of trouble through 10 days, how are we going to get through another 50 days?
Tim, there were some reports that some of the Marlins players might have been out at a bar or disobeying the protocols baseball has in place, and then there were some reports that some Cardinal players maybe went to a casino. So my question to you is this: can MLB and the PA agree that MLB could levy some sort of punishment on players who do break protocol? Because there's 28 other teams going about it the right way, and two teams screw up and bring down the whole season. That's not right to all these other teams.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying, and that's why we now have a compliance officer with these teams to check up a little bit closer. But I mean, someone with the Marlins made a mistake. That's obvious. But did it start the spread? Did they get it from the night that they went out? Was it only one night they went out? We don't know the answers to those questions, and we don't know that much enough about this disease to just say, all right, here's what happened there. So that's the danger. But I think the bottom line is when this started, we were asking a bunch of young guys in their early 20s to show discipline and restraint that maybe they've never shown their whole life, and said, all right, everything is riding on you going from the hotel to the ballpark and straight back to the hotel. That was a challenge to begin with, and obviously some mistakes have been made. But to blame the players for this entirely, I'm just not sure that's fair either.
Tim Kurkjian from ESPN with us here on the Jake Asman Show. So, where do things currently stand with baseball and the PA? Are they going to be able to agree to a new set of protocols to try and stop the spread? I mean, what can really be done at this point? Because obviously, there's no bubble coming. So how can baseball try and navigate, what is obviously an unprecedented situation?
Well, this is where the collaboration of the owners and the players is going to be critical, and it hasn't been very good up till now, which we saw all spring, and we didn't even get an agreement. But both sides are working. They have to work together on this because there's no choice. The players' safety is in question here, and therefore the union will do anything it can to protect its players. The MLB knows that the big money is coming in October. We have to get there in one piece. So I don't think there's any doubt. I have seen changes in the last couple days of more players, not high-fiving, more masks being worn. And I think that was because the commissioner and Tony Clark got together and said, all right, we got to do better than this as an industry. And I think that has started to happen, but it has to happen on an even higher level if we're going to get through this season.
Tim Kurkjian with us here, of course, ESPN baseball reporter and analyst. Tim, we saw over the weekend Lorenzo Cain opted out, obviously what happened yesterday in Atlanta with Yoenis Cespedes. Do you anticipate more players opting out as we move along here?
Yeah, I do. I don't think it's going to be a large number, but it was surprising when Lorenzo Cain did that. He's one of the best players in the game, and he plays on a really good team. And I'm not going to challenge him on why he did it. He had his reasons, and I respect him for making a difficult decision. Cespedes, of course, a different situation. We're not positive exactly why he walked away. And without telling anyone why he opted out on his own team, that certainly is not the way to do this. So I think more and more players will get fearful of where this is going. But I don't see a mass exodus. I see a guy here and a guy there, and not much more than that.
So with Cespedes, I mean, the whole story is just bizarre with the Mets putting out a statement saying they sent security to his hotel room and they couldn't find him, which alarmed a lot of people. And then they said, oh, well, we have no reason to believe his health is in jeopardy. I mean, the Met fan has been so beaten up over all these types of wild stories with Cespedes, going back to the wild boar incident, Tim, as you know. So what did you make of just the latest, the latest story here, which probably ends the Yoenis Cespedes era in New York?
Yeah, it was very disappointing. I mean, you owe it to your team to tell them, look, I'm not playing anymore. I'm sorry. I'm afraid of the virus. People would actually understand that. But to drag people through, a 2-hour mystery, is he okay? And thank goodness he's okay. But he's got to do a better job than that. And it ends a very strange chapter of Cespedes in New York. It's not just a wild boar, but playing golf while he's on the disabled list, walking, while playing golf when he can't run enough to play in baseball. I mean, he's not going to be seen fondly by Mets fans as they move forward. And the irony is he was such a good player. He was important to that team, and then things really went south.
Tim Kurkjian, kind enough to join us here on the Jake Asman Show as we talk all things Major League Baseball. One of the on-field stories that was certainly captivating to most people, and I'm based here in Houston, so certainly Astros fans were fired up discussing it, was what happened with Joe Kelly and the Astros last Tuesday. What did you make of that entire situation with Kelly throwing at Bregman and, a pitch to Correa that got pretty close to him as well, and then obviously, the 8-game suspension that MLB handed out following the altercation?
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised that somebody went after the Astros, given all the heat they've taken, and justifiably so in most cases. However, you can't throw 97 miles an hour up near somebody's head for any reason. Sorry. Look, I know you hit a guy in the ribs, which really hurts, or in the backside, or something like that to get your point across. I understand what retaliation and retribution's all about. It's been all about it for 150 years. But Joe Kelly crossed the line, and even though 8 games was a harsh penalty, I think it was Major League Baseball saying we have to send a message. We're trying to social distance in the middle of a pandemic, and the last thing we need is a fight, a brawl, a dust-up of any kind. So this, to me, this was baseball through Joe Kelly telling everyone, we're not putting up with this. Not now. There are too many way more important things, and we're not going to allow somebody to throw at your head at 97 in the middle of a pandemic.
Do you think that this will now stop other teams from doing it? Was the 8 games a significant enough punishment where other teams are going to take note and not go after the Astros?
Well, I would certainly hope so. Look, baseball players have the longest memories ever. I've told and written stories about guys who waited 3 years to get back at somebody, and it was worth it for the 3 years. So doing it now, to me at least, doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I don't think we'll see anything here because Joe Kelly, as we know, his suspension is a 22-game suspension based on a 162-game season, and I can't see an important player on a team deciding, I'm going to throw at somebody and get suspended for the equivalent of 22 games.
Tim Kurkjian with us here, of course, the great ESPN baseball reporter and analyst. As far as on-field news, Aaron Judge right now might be the hottest player in the world, and he hit 2 more home runs last night. He's been leading the Yankees to their 7-1 start. What have you made watching Judge, and obviously just how much fun is it watching a guy that's so locked in right now?
Well, with all the other issues going around, this is what makes people happy, to watch somebody that good, that big, that strong, and finally healthy again, do what he has done. He's hit a homer in 5 straight games for the first time in his career. The only Yankees that have ever hit a homer in 6 games in a row are Don Mattingly, 8, and Lou Gehrig and Roger Maris with 6. So what he's doing is stunning, but not surprising. He's that good. And to see him hit 2 balls like he did last night, one of the faces of the game, one of the real good guys in the game, that shoulder seems to be healed. This is why we're watching baseball now, not just because the Yankees are really good, but a really good young player is swinging it like we're used to him swinging it.
Is the American League the Yankees to lose, given what's happened with Houston with some of their injuries, most notably Justin Verlander, and just how locked in it looks like the Yankees are, led by Judge and Garrett Cole?
Well, the Yankees are the clear best team in the American League. But the beauty of baseball is you can be the clear best team, like the Mariners were in 2001 after winning 116 games, and you don't even get to the World Series. Now, I think the Yankees are so good, and they're getting healthier, and they're getting Chapman back, and their lineup is a joke. It's so good that, I think they're the odds-on favorite to go to the World Series from the American League. But, again, the beauty of baseball is anything can happen. And just when you think you understand how it's going to work, you realize that you don't.
Tim, you're used to being at ballparks all throughout the country, being part of various broadcasts on ESPN. So how weird has it been broadcasting games from a studio or from your house and just not having any fans in the stands as well?
Well, this has been the weirdest season of my life, and this is my 41st year of covering baseball. I've done 4 games from the booth, but the booth is in my office. So I've done games with Carl Ravitch, who's in Connecticut, Eduardo Perez, the other analyst, who's in Miami. I'm in Maryland, and we've done games, 2 games in California, game in Boston, game tomorrow night in Washington. It is so weird trying to call a Major League game, analyze a Major League game when you're not at a Major League game. But we're all flexible. We all understand that this is it. This is how it works. These are extraordinary circumstances, and everyone has to make an adjustment.
Do you like the short commute to work that you have right now?
I haven't left my office in like 5 months, and it's time to go out and do something else. But in the state in which I live, Maryland, they're not fooling around here. You're wearing your mask wherever you go. I haven't been out to dinner in 5 months, and that's okay, too. I can adjust. But, yes, it is nice not leaving home. But there's no substitute for being at the ballpark. And I've been in a ballpark all the time for 41 years. I miss it terribly. But, again, we all understand this is the strangest baseball season we've ever seen.
He's Tim Kurkjian, of course. You can check him out on Twitter at Kurkjian_ESPN, longtime ESPN baseball reporter and analyst, kind enough with his time this morning on the show. Tim, thank you so much. I hope you continue to stay safe, and I look forward to watching you do games from the home office.
Thank you, Jake. Talk to you later.